Juciest have shaken up the Shark Tank and the boardrooms of top companies. They're two of the most successful women in Australia, but it didn't come easy, and they have some amazing stories to share on how they got there. Please welcome Shark Tank's Janine Allis and entrepreneur Margie Harley. Ladies, welcome to the show. Janine, we'll start with you. We all know and love you as one of the sharks, of course, on Shark Tank, but you're also the brains behind Boost Juice, a huge, huge company. But many people might not know that the way you got to where you are, it was a zigzag, wasn't it? I mean, you dropped out of school, high school early, you got pregnant early, and you actually ended up on a boat with David Bowie.
So it was a ziggy-zag.
A ziggy-zag.
It was, yeah, not necessarily the traditional path I'd want my children to follow, but but I think that's what life is, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, my school only went to year 11. I was a tech school, so they taught you how to do woodwork and sheet metal, and so they didn't teach you much about history or geography or anything, or spelling or anything like that. So it is very different, you know, when you sort of come from, no money or no one around me was talking about university.
How did you end up on a boat with David Bowie?
Oh, completely and utterly broke in the south of France. I had $200 to my name in total, and just sort of, went to a pub and they said there's a job in a place called Villeneuve-Bay, and sure enough, got the job, and 6 weeks later, Bowie bought it. And so for the next 2 years, hung around with David Bowie and Mick Jagger and all these superstars and rock stars.
So how then did you become this, huge businesswoman then? How did you go, OK, well, now that I've done all this stuff, I'm going to go into business?
Well, yeah, it's the path that you take, isn't it? So I think often I wasn't the lemonade stand girl. Mine was about my entrepreneurial sort of spirit came out when I met my husband, and he was sort of had that hand firmly in the back of my back going, right, and we talk about that in the podcast, is surround yourself with great people, marry well, make sure that you get it right, because it's the support you need to have around you that can help you get to where you want to be.
Now, Margie, you're an entrepreneur guru. That's your title, and I believe...
your car card.
Yeah.
And you work with top executives in the business world, but you didn't have the easiest of starts either, like health, big health...
Yep. So my first part of my career was really successful. I ended up being the CEO of the Melbourne Comedy Festival.
I know,
love
Thank
that.
Thank you for the gig 25 years ago.
Amazing, one of my favourite people. And so I then had a bit of a time where I had babies, I had cancer, I had a really, really terrible time with my health. We moved countries, and I ended up at the age of 40 having had sort of almost 10 years out of the workforce and trying to honour my health, honour my fact that I had these 3 babies under 2.5. Wow. And actually, I know that's a whole other story.
And recovering from cancer.
And recovering from cancer. And actually reinventing myself. And so...
I don't want to make your story even more sadder, but there was financial problems as well, wasn't
Yeah, well, let's just add a divorce and a broken jaw. I was at a party once and I was dressed as Deborah Harry, as you do.
Sure.
And the lady came up to me and she said, "Are you Margie?" And I said, "Yes." "Hi." And she goes, "You're the woman who redefined rock bottom."
Well, you know when you said that, I thought you meant rock and roll.
No, I did too. Rock bottom. So at that point, it was really pivotal for me. I thought, I don't want this to define who I am. I've been through some tough times. I'm actually a facilitator, I'm a coach, I back people, help them be successful. I'm going to do that for myself, and that's what I did.
So we look at both of you. Boost Juice is a $3 billion business, is that right?
Well, hopefully one day, but we've done $3 billion worth of sales.
But you don't get that without hard times. And hard times is part and parcel. I think sometimes people don't expect that. They don't realise that that's got to be one of the factors on the way there.
Look, it's interesting, isn't it? And this is why we did it, because, you can't get the 10 tips of success, right? And it's, follow these tips and that's what you get. So we were talking about it and we said, God, there's so much out there that's just fantasy. And so we said, let's do it. And like, we've sat hours in makeup chairs. We've talked about some of the challenges we've got as parents and work and everything we've got. So we said, let's just demystify everything. We're calling it Superwoman We Ain't.
This is the podcast.
Yeah, this podcast. So we're doing a podcast to just go, you know what? It's actually not what you think it is. It's actually freaking hard work. It's not always... dandy, but it's fun as well. So it's this mixture. So don't just follow these 5 tips and be successful. we all know we've all had our challenges, and life is about the roller coaster.
And how do you pick yourself up? What's the first step when you are at that? I'm not going to say the RB word again. how do you take that first step?
Yep, thanks for not redefining my brand for me there. I think what's incredibly important is the reality check and planning. So planning, preparation, and then knowing that you might have a dream. That's great. Everybody out there can be successful. Actually planning and putting the steps forward for what you want to achieve, and knowing that you have to, it's not linear, as you said before, it's actually a really interesting journey along the way, and then listening to people like Janine who've done it incredibly well.
Ziggy Zag with added Bowie.
Yeah, exactly. Nice mention there.
What do you say to people as well who say, I just want to go into small business for the lifestyle of it?
And that's pretty stupid, because and the reason I say it's stupid because I got a mirror and that's what I started. I had 3 children and went, I want to have balance. I want to be able to be there for them and do all this. That's what I want. And then you go down this business path and suddenly you're working hard as you've ever worked, taking no money home, let alone a reduced salary, and then you get to a point where you're going, actually, so this balance thing, I'm now working 100 hours a week, and by the way, I have to sell my family home to fund it. So and that's the reality. It's not the, hey, let's have flexibility and work part-time, which is what I stupidly thought at the start. And then loved it, though, but then also went down the path and went, actually, I love it. I love the roller coaster ride of the huge highs you get in business and and equally scary lows. But isn't that more fun than the merry-go-round, where it's just safe and up and down? And I don't think anyone here on the panel are merry-go-round people.
No, absolutely not. If you want to soak up all of the wisdom and knowledge that these 2 wonderful ladies have, you've got to check out Janine and Margie's 10-part podcast, Super Women We Ain't series. It's all about the realities of entrepreneurship. You can head to, podcast1.com.au. Janine and Margie, thank you so much for coming in.